There's the ping, but apparently only I hear, or maybe it's only in my mind. We are Friday. We are AutoGrader, BetaSaaSer, or some sort of thing, and woohoo! Somewhere I have the agenda. I have just pasted the agenda somewhere. Annoyingly, sometimes the Slack messages get in the way of me seeing which tabs I'm looking at. Where have all my tabs gone? I just had the agenda. Well, let's put it up again. Anyway, let's go to the screen share. Anyway, Richard and Rose and Sam in the house. Here it comes. That is not the agenda, but it soon will be. Because Agile Ventures. So yeah, you're just saying, Richard, you've added a couple of things in there. Rose, did you have anything to add to the agenda?
Not particularly, except that you got those messages I sent about Tammy not being able to get through to you guys. I don't know
Yeah.
why she gets message undeliverable. You know, one of the things you might try
Yeah.
is just email her back because her email's there.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think both Thomas and I we put alternate emails in the that she could use.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I was just thinking it would be interesting to see what happens the other way.
yeah, indeed. I'll put that in. That's like Blackboard account. So this is related to getting access to Rose's Blackboard account. Wow, Blackboard. Okay, well, let's just go through our outstanding action items. So Fabius Spock, I'm putting that off to March. We are actually making various changes to the Spock Part 2 homework assignments and things. That's, yeah, I think that's worth pushing off. Richard, we had a agenda item from a few weeks back, but you're using some checklist software?
Yeah, look, I have that on mine, and both of those are spelled wrong. So why don't you delete it and we'll come back, or pass it and we'll come back to it down at the bottom if we get to it.
Okay. Yes. This is on like data sharing software of some kind.
Yeah.
So we can pop that into the bottom there. Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. You got it. Well, you got it there. Right. So then, yeah. Basically, we have this instructor community resources, and I have, of course, unsurprisingly, been completely overwhelmed by the large number of pull requests coming in from instructors around the world. Not. But that's something we want to talk about. We've got that's my offering there about how to move forward on that. That's kind of it's kind of done that I've offered that.
That's great. Yeah.
We've got I mean things I can say about GitHub, but anyhow. So I have actually followed up with edX about this content library thing. I'm now in a position to investigate it. I was trying to investigate content libraries on the Fox test course, which is an old one, and they tell me it's working on the new ones, and okay. So I basically this action item becomes Sam understand the content libraries and whether that would be a better understand edX content libraries. So this is like a way to share bits of content between courses that, like, if we took all of the components from the MOOC and put them in the content library, then we could all have our Spocks instantly update from them. I'm not sure, but anyway. I have suggested to Armando that we like move the textbook to a Git book because I think that would make just huge amounts of sense. I have had an email from Armando. He's like, and is like he said something about he's got some playing time in the next week and he hopes to finish up the textbook, and he's just I can sense that he's overwhelmed. But yeah, and so Rose, you've attempted to add me to the Blackboard instance, but that's our review of from last time's.
Yeah, Tammy basically just needs to email you with your new Blackboard email. So I'm just thinking the easiest way might be email her and say, hey, I'm here. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the email that we gave you, that those Agile Ventures ones are, they sort of forwarding ones, so maybe that was some sort of problem. But
maybe.
Contact Tammy at Binghamton. Let's take it.
But was she trying to? Was this just a text message she's sending, or is it a message that includes things?
She got. I mean, the data we have here, or here.
All right. So she asked for their email. An email address for both Thomas and Sam, and when she sends something to it, she gets undeliverable.
I don't know if she's got a spelling mistake. I mean, Thomas and I both tested these, and we received these emails. This is
well, that's why I'm saying if you send her, she can just respond. So if there's some kind of typo or some weird thing that I'm not seeing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We'll just do that. Okay. So moving into the agenda. So I guess we'll just work through this. There's not one thing that's more important than another.
Mm-hmm.
So if not, we'll start with so Rose and Janet, you paired on the hang person assignment earlier in the week. Is that right? Yes.
Yes. And we didn't pair for all that long, but because Janet's time was pretty well constrained. But we got partway through it. We haven't gotten through the whole thing yet. And by the way, apparently, there's only one solution up in the repository right now? Because it's like CI it tells you that it's got a solution, right?
Well, so that is the way it's set up. Like if we go CI there, then solution, and then that's a solution to it, apparently.
Oh, there is one. Well, that's odd. Okay, because we certainly couldn't find that.
Well, it's, I mean, this whole, I think we need transparency. I think everything should be available to everybody all the time, although Amanda disagrees with me, particularly about giving the solutions to the students in advance, which apparently is very controversial. But anyway, well, that's not quite what I mean. What am I talking about? Well, hang person, did you actually assign, Richard, did you assign the hang person one last week?
No, and I'm always interested to hear something positive. I scanned it and was like, ooh, is this really going to simplify everyone's life? And I didn't get that feeling. No. And I haven't gotten a reporting of that. So, if Rose and Janet can say, hey, yeah, we did this, and this is really going to be a help, let me know.
Yeah. But so, well, what we have had from Rose and Janet, which is very valuable, was an email to the list, which I've opened now as an issue on the repo. So this is from I guess you and Janet. You were making some suggestions about some things that you ran into, some additions to the instructions possibility. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, well, one of the RSpec tests looked like somebody had copied and pasted it and then not adjusted it for the actual flip side of the logic.
Sure.
So that could be problematic.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think at least the great advantage, independently of how we feel about hang person, I think the fantastic advantage of having hang person in a repo and not in edX is it means that, in principle, anybody can submit a pull request. And in fact, so for example, here we've got, this is one of the world TAs from the MOOC has, made a suggestion for a change to the, the instructions. And so, and we can look at, I think they're closed one, we can see actually, we've had from various TAs and so on, little changes and fixes and so on. So I think that this is, from my point of view, I mean, the same reason that I would love to get the textbook into Gitbook is that, and indeed the entire course, is that the GitHub pull request mechanism allows people to sort of specifically say, I have a problem with this thing here, and those things can be sort of addressed and then merged in or not with a minimum of administration overhead. So as sort of an admin person on the side of all of this, I'm just, what I want to do is I want to encourage everybody to use these things. And so, and I realize you guys as instructors, if posting to, I was saying to Janet on the mailing list, if posting to the mailing list is the simple low-cost thing to do when you've got like 800 students chasing you down the corridor, do that, and I'll just make sure it goes to the right place. So I did that, but what we also got the advantage, look at this, look, it's interaction from Armando. He's a real human.
Oh my goodness.
You see? So he actually posted the onto, because I originally got the homework wrong and posted it in the wrong place, but so I was then raising, so we've now got Armando like talking about, he's got some specific suggestions here for how to interpret what you've said and how to make a change to the repo and so on. So that's, I think, the big advantage of the doing stuff through the issues and pull requests and so on in GitHub is, I think, it increases the chance that we get input from Armando because he's relatively, he gets overwhelmed by the email on the main list. So
sure.
Yeah, so I mean, going back to the hang person in general, I mean, I think that the biggest problem with the hang person is the model that it's using, which is it's using this model of having like a very large number of existing tests, which are all pending, and then you have this process of kind of like uncommenting them and moving through it, and it was the same in was it Ruby Calisthenics that used to have that or something, but it was just it was like I think that the idea of what it's trying to do here with the Sinatra app and the Hangman thing is kind of nice, but really before students would do this, I think they need to do like a little, just building a sort of a trivial Hangman Sinatra app off first. So anyway, I mean, I will probably
I thought that was the idea of this. Is this was supposed to be
an introduction to Sinatra,
a gentler introduction, a stepping stone, and it turned and it seems it's its thing in its own right, which is fine, but a different purpose.
Yeah, I mean, what it is that like basically this is. I started pairing on this with Raul, who's another guy involved in Agile Ventures, and we got like halfway through it. And what it is it's kind of less complicated perhaps than the homework. Well, or it's almost, you can argue, less complicated than the Rails intro homework in terms of what it does. In as much as here you're trying to insert some functionality related to this game into an existing Sinatra app, whereas in the Rails intro one, you're trying to insert some functionality into a Rails app. And so the Sinatra app is somewhat simpler than the Rails app, give or take. And so the thing that actually makes it this much more complex is that this has the testing stuff in there, and you're sort of doing all the testing locally, and you have this very, very large amounts of testing stuff when you haven't really introduced very well to the whole testing things, and you're supposed to sort of take that all as read. So there ends up being a lot of moving parts, and it's not really introducing you so much to Sinatra as it is trying to put some logic in there. And so, yeah, I mean, anyway, I mean, we're talking about doing increasing the number of runs of the MOOC from 1 to 2 a year. So we might do another run of the MOOC part 1 in May. So I would be kind of taking another pass through. I mean, I'll back up. I'm really focused on MOOC Part 2 at the moment because that's what the MOOC students around the world are.
Sure.
Problem with. But I will be taking another pass through, I think, all of these things as the natural progression of the year flows through. So anyhow, but I guess so. Rose, have you released this to your students, or something you're thinking about releasing to your students, or?
Well, right now I'm contemplating releasing it on Monday, and as they said, we haven't worked through the whole thing yet, and I plan on spending some time this week and hopefully finishing it. And I don't know, I don't find it that objectionable at this point, but I do feel like we spent a lot of time this week in class this was the week that we were learning Ruby. And what we focused on, I didn't focus on the language, I focused on testing. I focused on tests first, and we had a little exercise, which hopefully you'll be able to see when you get access to my Blackboard account.
Yeah.
But the idea was to work through an application, a very little one, just writing a little method. And what we did is not use RSpec, we just used Ruby. All right, so we just used Ruby tests in the same file we were working with, and thought about all the things that making the application by thinking about testing first. And so we worked through that, and then the students have this homework 0, and they seem to be doing fine with the tests. When something doesn't work, I had online office hours last night, and so I paired with like about 4 students, and we worked through it. And afterwards, I got some comments with students saying, well, when you haven't done something properly, it's giving you feedback that you need to take care of this or that edge case or whatever. So they seem to be fine with it. And I think given that progression, I don't think they're going to have a problem with the Sinatra one. But that's because, to me, it's an extra. Now, the thing about the uncommenting the pending, I mean, unless you do that, you're going to get hit with a bazillion error messages when you start out,
right.
which I find.
I think the difference. What I would say is like rather than having these like 100 things in there, why not start with just having 5 and like make the RSpec available in another location to pull it in later on by switching to a different branch or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
But
I suppose, although that might even be more complicated.
Well, I think one would have to find a better solution. But yeah, it sounds like if you've spent a week going through like understanding what testing is, then I think this homework is much more manageable. I'm just going to draw Richard's attention here to check out how Rose is using the Agile Ventures Slack here to distribute the link to the Hangout and her online office hours, and then the recording of the thing. I think this is very innovative. Well done, Rose. And
okay, so that's in Slack.
That this is the Slack instance for Agile Ventures, and so Rose has a Slack channel in there for her relative, her graduate class and undergraduate class.
And I just see. I was going to ask, and I can see it now that your office hours are through the Google Hangouts, and then do
half of them. I do half live and I do half online. I thought that
right. No, I understand that. I'm asking about the online.
There was still such a hesitancy about doing the pair programming online and that sort of thing, and I was trying to think of a way to really hammer that home that students need to work collaboratively all the time. And so I said, well, you know what I'm going to do this semester? I'm going to make half of my office hours online, so that students can see how doable this is, and they're going to see it right away. Like the previous one, only one student showed up, and about an hour into it. So what I did was, when I posted the link, I described that Marvin joined us and the timestamps, so no one who wanted to view this was going to waste their time, and what we talked about. All right. So then this time I had 4 students showed up, and we were busy the entire time, just beginning to end, and I think it went well, and the students seem to think that hey, this is very doable and fun, and so hopefully I won't get the pushback I've gotten in the past. Even one of the students who paired with me last night was like, I'm going to be too busy this week to do this. There's no way I can do it. And I said, well, join me. I'm going to have pair programming during my office hours. Join me, and let's see how it goes. And afterwards she said, yeah, this was great. She said, this is way better than if I just did it myself.
Okay, and I just had one question in all of this, which is, so you're doing it with Google Hangouts, and then what? Are you doing screen share? Are you doing Cloud9 session sharing? Are you doing both?
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's I just shared my screen, okay, and what happened is students joined. They had Cloud9 sessions already set up, and they shared their screen. And we went from there. Now I'm thinking that maybe next time we'll do something a little more sophisticated, like have a Cloud9 instance that we share with the participants, right? But for for last night, I kept it fairly simple, and we just shared screen and discussed code and took turns being pilots, that kind of thing.
Okay, so that's fine. So you just used Hangout screen sharing, and then. Just to wrap it up, Sam, do you have anything to jump in? In other words, because you've probably done this. Is it Hangouts? Do you understand my question?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I do exactly as Rose has described. I mean, I think Rose and I were doing this, a year or two ago, where we basically have a Hangout and we'd have a screen share, and we would have a Cloud9 instance, and basically we could take turns typing in the Cloud9 instance. And we could share screen as necessary. Sometimes with Cloud9 that ends up not being necessary. And wrong thing.
Okay. So but the Cloud9 instance that you're talking about, Sam, is one that's shared, and Rose.
Yeah. Well, no, I think Rose is.
That's what Janet and I did.
That's what Janet.
Okay, that's fine. And then I misunderstood. I heard you say you just did Hangout sharing. You didn't do session sharing on your office hours. But fine, that's all I was asking.
Yeah, well, I think there's a combination. I mean, I think the thing to do Richard, at some point is to do we should do a paired session together. But
yeah, and I'm mostly just looking to see. I've done Hangout sessions. I haven't, and I've done like Cloud9. I haven't done them together, and I just wanted to make sure that I guess the bottom line is that you do need both rather than you.
Well, no, I mean, I think you could mix them. I think if you want to help a student, basically you can be helping them just with screen share, right? If they're doing it on their own box,
right? I've done that.
Right. And then there's another level where if they're using Cloud9, you can say, oh, well, let me type some things in for you. And if they're a really advanced student and they give you a GitHub repo, you can like pull their stuff out and onto your local machine, and then actually play around with it in front of them. Right. So there's a lot of options, And
right. I guess that, all I was looking for is does Cloud9 have some ability that obviates the need to also use like a Hangout screen share? That's really all I was asking.
Well, it sort of does, doesn't it, Rose? Because if you've got Cloud9 and you set up, you add someone as a collaborator on Cloud9, you can both type into the same thing, and then you could just be using the Hangouts for the audio and even to be able to see each other's face.
That's what I'm saying. You need the Hangout.
You need audio. You need some other thing other than Cloud9.
Yeah.
Right.
When I say you need that, in other words, you found that you need that. You probably chat and do some stuff in Cloud9, but you can. Beyond that.
I mean, there's Screen Hero, which is a whole other thing, where it has its own audio feed. But anyway, let's.
You know what? Because the other thing, I just started using TeamViewer to remote control PCs, which I've avoided for years because I had hacked up my own solution, and using it now has been so smooth that I'm wondering that I'm sort of almost looking into that as a mechanism.
Oh, yeah. Well, Cloud9 was very, very clunky a couple of years ago, and it's now really smooth. I mean, TeamViewer, back in the day, and it had a Hangout integration, and it was awful. These things do improve over time. So I mean, if you're finding that's working, then
right. So I'm just getting a data point from where you guys are at now. Okay, cool.
Even last semester, Cloud9 would get very sluggish.
Yeah.
I've noticed this semester we're not having any problems.
Yeah. It's they're really
amazing.
Yeah. Good show.
And just so that Richard, I didn't like the students had Cloud9 on their machines. I didn't do Cloud9 with them. At certain points, I piloted. Well, I navigated, and I said, "Well, you might want to try this. You might want to try this." And
that's what I heard you say. I heard you say you didn't do Cloud9 sharing with the students.
Janet,
I understand with Janice and so forth.
Yeah, we did Cloud9 sharing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So just if we go I was just trying to remember what I would say, Rose, is probably if you want to make. If there are specific things that you would like to see changed in the hang person instructions, then the way to maximize the chance of that happening would be to put in a pull request. Yeah. And I guess and you're quite comfortable with pull requests. You're.
Well, I'm a little rusty right now, but I'll get on rusty.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that was the kind of thing. I think particularly if Janet was here, I might kind of walk through it. But
Yeah, actually, the next time if she is here, it would be great to walk through it. My situation is, I lost a lot of work when my old computer, the hard drive crashed, and then I moved stuff. I had some backup stuff. I moved on to a loaner computer, and then when the computer came back, I tried to move it, take it off the loaner computer, and move it back onto the repaired computer, and it crashed again, and I had to send it back, and so a lot of my little notes about doing things are gone. a lot of my solutions are gone. I mean,
there's something called the cloud, which.
No, but I had enough backup to recover most of it. But what I'm finding is here and there I had things that I had to back up like an idiot, and they're lost.
Yeah.
And of course, it's these little things, like for standard things or the big things, I had backup, but for my little notes about this or that,
yeah.
So,
the key thing is, of course, basically, if you want to, I mean, what I would say going forward, any of the homeworks, if you see something that you think you want to change, and you're just in there and you're like, oh, that's ugly or whatever, I mean, the key thing to do is to click the fork button, go to your, thing, And then, like the README there is you want to go in and, just edit it, whatever you want, and then you can basically open having made an edit, and we'll just do a test one here. Let's put an extra thing on there and save that. That makes this different from your thing. You can go back here, and then you can do like a new pull request, basically from there. I mean, the one thing that's if you forked a long time ago, you need to update your instance so that it's got all of the stuff from the new level, which then is something you have to do from online. But you know the approximate approach. Yeah. Okay. We'll maybe go through that with Janet on a different occasion. But yes, go on.
Can I ask you just quickly once again? Where do I find the homeworks and the homework solutions?
Well, so basically for any of the individual homework assignments here, so here we are in HangPerson, you put -CI on the end, and takes you to a new repo, and has a solutions directory. I'm sorry?
Oh, okay, I'm just saying I'm there and I don't see it.
Well, here, like, there's a solutions directory that I'm clicking on here. So here I'm in Homework, Sinatra, SAS, HangPerson, -CI, and there's a solutions directory, and inside the solutions directory is the solution.
I don't see it.
Okay, you sharing your screen?
HangPerson.
Yeah. You have to be logged in.
No, I think you are logged in. I think the problem is that you're not in the CI directory. You probably also have to be signed in.
Oh, I'm not. God, what an idiot. Okay. I thought I already signed in. I guess I signed into Agile Ventures.
Right.
I'm signing into a million things this morning, and I forget which ones.
Yeah, it's not a problem. Not a problem. Sorry. But the key thing, like, I would say that the repo that you're in there is still just the normal. Okay. Basically, we have two repos for each assignment. We have the repo that's the student-facing repo that doesn't have the solution in it.
Right.
And then we have so go back to the repo that you were just on that page. Go back. Hit the back button. You just were on it.
No, I already did hit the back button. I'm back one.
There. Okay, we'll go forward. Or
click. Where I was.
Yeah. So click on it. Yeah. So go to the address bar. Yeah, and put your cursor in there and add a hyphen, and then a C and then an I to the end of the thing. Unfortunately, and extraordinarily annoyingly, Google Hangouts prevents me from seeing the top of your screen because it says I am screen sharing, and it has a little green thing covering, so I cannot see the top there. There we go. Okay, so now, like there, you're in there, like. Just to make that wider. So it's there, SASbook -HangPerson CI there, and you're definitely so back out, and you're definitely signed in as you.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
so
Janet and I both found we couldn't find any of this.
Okay.
Stuff.
So you could So when you put the -CI in, you can't see that repo. It's what it was just saying there. It was doing a 404 not found. But can you increase the width of the thing so I can see which user account you're logged in with?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
I'm gonna try this now. So
okay.
Good.
So I mean, this is the link. I'm going to put the link in the chat here. That this is I can go there and I can see it. And yeah, so in answer to your question, Richard, yeah, I mean the SASbook /homework is kind of deprecated, although some of the solutions still work.
Yeah, that's where I've looked and I've seen this. I've seen the CI. Directories, but I didn't know that we were using convention over configuration, and that was the standard.
Okay.
Right. Well,
so I'll keep that in mind.
Interestingly enough, when Janet and I looked at it last weekend, we only saw one CI directory.
Yeah. Okay. So, Rose, you want to try going to that CI directory again? I think it's possible that one had not been added to the group that you're in.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, and it's.
There it is.
There you go. You have it.
Yeah.
So that's that. I mean, this is there is a separate. So you can see here, I've got a. This is the team directory here for us for the beta group. So you can see there's Janet in there, and there's Rose and Richard, and so this determines which repositories you have access to. So I guess I could just do, can I do -CI there, and we'll see. I mean, basically we can see here you've got BDD Cucumber CI, BDD TD Cycle CI, Ruby Intro CI, Rails Intro CI, Ruby Intro CI, Indices Performance CI, homework Sinatra. Yeah. So, and I guess what we should just put here is like homework legacy, and I'll just make sure that you have access to. Why does that not like? I don't know. Anyway, I mean, there we go. I think we have resolved that issue at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just tell you, is Ruby Calisthenics current?
It's not being used by Armando.
Okay, so it's the homework one is a different.
Yeah, I mean, basically, Armando has replaced for Berkeley. He's replaced the Ruby Calisthenics with the Sinatra, and as has the MOOC, in fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's the one that I'm doing, and I didn't see the equivalent -CI.
No. So there's no. They haven't created a CI for that one.
Okay, that's cool, and that's where I was finding the old solutions under the HW directory. No problem.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm wondering. Here's an idea, and I don't know if anyone else wants to take it up, but since the old Ruby Calisthenics isn't being used officially, I'm kind of toying with the idea of assigning them the Sinatra one and then doing the calisthenics in class.
Sure.
Because it's got some useful ideas and ways of thinking, and it should kind of help everybody get more up to speed. As an example.
Yeah,
But anyway.
No, that's a good idea. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So anyway, thank you, Sam, because boy, Janet and I, we had no idea why that wasn't working.
No. Well, and that's an oversight on our side. So my apologies that you've been time.
It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. These things happen.
Yeah. But so that I think that the thing is, if you're unable to go to a CI repo in future, just let me know straight away, and I will go and adjust the permissions.
Well, now we know. Now we know, and now we also know that a pull request is the way to go with this stuff. So, if hopefully I'm going to pair again with Janet, maybe we'll both put in a pull request this weekend.
No, that would be. I think getting getting into that flow would be awesome.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I don't do it enough. Okay. And you know how it is. You're just so busy.
Sure, absolutely. Good God, you've got like real in-person students who needs them. I mean, no, well, they pay the. Go on, Richard.
So, is there any distinction if the -CI directory, or if a directory doesn't exist versus you don't have permission? Can you see a difference?
No, the GitHub is going to tell you the same thing.
Right. That's what that's what I thought. I just wanted to double check. Because if you look for like the Ruby Calisthenics, it's like, I'd say I don't have permission. It's like, oh no, it doesn't exist. But
yeah.
And then the only other thing is, even though I'm not expecting like answers, I wouldn't mind just like a few minutes at the end at least to go over my questions or
well, that's what I think we need to do right now before we run out of time. I have found there is a Ruby Calisthenics CI.
Good.
Yeah. So I'm just confused. But anyway, I'll make sure that you have access to it, and then that will be easier. Yes. Oops, wrong thing. Go over here. Okay. You should be able to find Ruby Calisthenics CI. I'm a bit confused about whether they've got that working with the new grader or not. Maybe they have. But let's just review Richard's questions now. So we've got AutoGraders assignments, homework 1 and 0. In the reference solution, they don't appear to preserve the case of the original words. Yes. You've got a number of issues here that I guess have come up in the last week.
We'll see. Yeah. So, I mean, that's just a sort of a side comment. The instructions say you need to preserve the case. The reference solution doesn't. These are, I haven't even tested the AutoGrader, but I remember like working a little extra hard to make that work. So it's just one of those things to know. If I tell students they have to do something, then students tell me no, I didn't. But these are just my notes that I threw up there. Anagram words. It just has a textual description of what they're looking for, and it doesn't have example output, which is weird because it used to, I thought. So I will add that kind of thing. What I didn't realize until you just said it now is that calisthenics, which I use, is basically sort of not used. So that's fine. I understand a little bit better now, and that's really the only thing on that, other than to see. So some of the things that I do with the pull
Go on, Richard.
With the pull requests is that most of the changes I make for my own purposes. So it would take and I'm expecting other people won't want them or don't need them.
Well, I think that they might. I mean, I think that's the thing.
I'm talking stuff that's really specific. My name, that have my, like, I put in my fork for them to clone from, right? No one else wants that.
No,
right?
But like the things that you have in your fork that are different, we may want those in the main.
Yeah. But that takes that's like a working. As I'm like rushing at the end to like just make some changes into my fork to figure out which ones other people and so forth. But I sort of I understand that more. What I'm saying is that most of my changes have been more for me, and that's why I haven't jumped on that as much.
Well, there's no need to. I mean, I think as a busy instructor, there's no need to. You don't have to justify why you're focusing on getting your things done. That's absolutely fine. I guess things like to the extent that you have time, then I'm gonna
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I think what I'm saying is just like for me at the moment, like these things that you're mentioning here, these seem like these are probably things that we should be fixing with the real thing. And so,
and that's why I put them in our thing. This is exactly.
So I think well, again, I guess what I'm apologizing for is like right now I probably I haven't got the bandwidth to get into the headspace specifically of homework 0 or homework 1, or at least not without a bit of a run-up. I spent like 3 hours today fixing like a whole issue with the legacy homework 2 that I think we now have working, but there's still more stuff to do on it. But I mean, it gives me hope that we can improve the. Actually, to come to your issue about the verbosity, we have actually had. I opened an issue on the homework 0 related to that, and we had a response from Aaron.
I saw.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I think it is fixable, and certainly before the next run of the course, we can split those the 3 parts out as separate things, and so that will make the output much less verbose. And that's effectively what I've done with Legacy Homework 2.
I don't think I mean, I didn't see it was Aaron's response as being sort of to the point of what I had an issue with. But again, we can leave that just because time is short.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think it would be a partial fix of the Interesting. Anyway, okay. I mean, we've pretty much run out of time. Is there anything else that we can?
Yeah. That's what okay. The one thing that I wanted to say is that I wanted to give homework 1 to my students in 2 parts.
Okay.
A lab class. Okay. And what I did is I created a branch for the first half of it and had students clone from that.
Okay.
And then. So my issue is it's an unsolved problem. I mean, because I'm sure there is like, what do I do next week? And and I'm not even I think I know what I want the outcome to be, because that's the way I want to focus. Let alone like how to achieve that. But without them knowing, I want to have sort of minimal sets of commands, and the easiest way to migrate and sort of go back and add the other pieces into their existing.
Yeah, so this is Ruby calisthenics.
Yeah, but it's a general issue. It's a more general kind of problem. It's like, how do I merge the branches in a way that's going to be most transparent to the students?
Yeah.
And that's what I got to figure out, and that's what I was looking for. Like I said at the beginning, I haven't really articulated it well enough to really ask for help. Maybe once I think about it and articulate it, I'll probably solve it myself. But if you have any thoughts, I think the thing is, why don't you take another go at articulating it and providing me with links to the repos that are actually involved, and then I could maybe conjure up a set of commands for you that might resolve the issue. Email.
Or, more irritatingly, I will say something like, you shouldn't be doing this at all. But,
well, that's not irritating. That's probably the most interesting, because then I learn more when you do something wrong. Good.
Yes. Well, yeah. Cool. Okay, yeah.
And now we can do it via email,
let's do it via email, and I think in particular, I think it's links to the actual repos and what you want.
Yeah. And that'll force me. I need to think it through. That's why I didn't want to take too much time on this.
Cool. Okay, yeah. Well, I think we've got that. We've run out of time for a detailed discussion of CheckVista and Echo Pro, but at least we've got their correct names now, so that will facilitate our discussion moving forward. I guess maybe I need to jump into another meeting. Let's leave it there for this week. We've got a few things to follow up on. Same time next week, guys. Does that sound reasonable?
Sounds great.
Nice one. All right. Good show. Take care, guys.
This was fun today.
Have a great week. Yeah, it was fun.
Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks, guys. Bye for now.
You too. Bye.